Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com. Welcome to the wrong screen. Welcome into yet another Chief Talk Season 7, Episode 15, the stream before PCA, because we will not have a stream next week. That's right, we've talked about that. You already knew that was coming. Before I get into the show tonight, we got 18 people chilling already. So much better success this week than last week. Welcome in Michael Zakovic, Charles Adamson, Supremo Tobacco, Jay Bates, Bob Ellis. Let's see who else. You guys have been talking all amongst yourself. I love it. Sean Crawley, my man Gary Brooks, the other Gary Zanstra. Welcome in. Says welcome. Hello everyone. Hope you all had a great week. I hope you have had a great week as well. Jay Bates, welcome into the show. How's everybody? So far, I'm doing great. And there's 20. So 15 shows in a row this year. All 15 of them hit 20. Last week, we did not hit 30. We got 29 last week. So if you were somebody who wasn't here last week, it is your fault. Matt Brugger, good evening, everyone. What is going on? Matt Brugger, Rick Carroll, my man. Charles Adamson watching in the dash of my new Blazer. Parked, of course. Even the car has YouTube now. Woo! Dog got that money. Banker John, welcome into the show. Supremo Tobacco saying, smash that like, fellas. Whittleback Cigars, it's almost the weekend, baby. It's always the weekend here at Chief Talk. Brett Kelly, welcome into the show. Jim Jurasek, what is going on? Hey, Chief, this is the way. This is indeed the way. I should have actually grabbed my Grogu one that's up there, but a little too far back. Matt Brugger's just chilling in the home garage lounge with the Herrera Red. I want to know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? Making poor decisions. Welcome back to the show. Glad to hear you. Michael Zakovic says, day 5, no. What do you mean? Day 5 of what? Day 5, no snow, no rain, no pollen. That's not the case down here. Let's see. Anybody else that I've missed? Shelton. Finally made it to my first live. Shelton, welcome into Chief Talk. Glad you're here live with us. Whittleback, hey man, just sitting down enjoying myself a little piece of heaven. That's what I like to hear. Supremo Tobacco I'll give you your $5 next week. Glad to have you, Shelton. It's fun. It is fun. It's great. It's a great time. Oh, let's see. Let me get over here, turn Jay Bates's sexy music off, and bring up my co-host of the evening, Bob the Cigar Guy.
Hello, everybody out there in Radio Land.
This is Video Land.
Video Land.
Welcome, everybody. How have you been? How's your week been? My week been pretty good, especially in the realms of media, because it has been a media
Crazy.
This the past few days. I expected that because running a cigar website who focuses on putting out press releases. I get a lot of press releases. I put out a lot of press releases when they come by.
Would you say they have more? We've got more press releases this year than last year. I would.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty early in the year. I think.
No, I'm talking about for the PC. I'm talking about the PCA press releases.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, it seems like we got a ton.
I don't know. Last year we had a Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust press release that talked about all the cigars. He has not sent that out yet. We've put out a Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust press release this year, and it did pertain to some of the Saka stuff, but it's not a big press release like he had last year. Maybe last year I actually just went and grabbed one of his Facebook posts. I can't remember. Speaking of cigars and press releases and things like that, I have not grabbed a cigar to smoke, so I'm just going to grab the closest cigar to me that's in a humidified pack. And it's going to be a gift from my boy, Supremo Tobacco, one of my favorite cigars of last year, the Alec Bradley Chunk Maduro. Bob Cigar Guy, what are you smoking over there? Because you're already smoking.
I am. I'm on my second cigar already. And
wow.
I'm smoking the Lubida.
The Lubida.
The Lubida.
That's
LBD.
actually a gift from Gary Brooks.
Is it really?
It is. He sent us, I think it was a 10-pack. Might have been a 5-pack. I think it was a 10-pack from the Smoke In party a few years ago, actually. Now, those have got some age on them. Little Big Delicious.
I've been crazy busy running through reviews to make sure I got the content out for every week while we're gone. And I'm finally finishing up my last podcast posting tonight, so everything will be ready and going. So I have been running through some cigars. My little desktop humidor that I got, my little Wanador thing, it was empty. So I had to turn around and grabbing the big old wood one. And I just pulled out a handful of different cigars.
What a terrible problem to have
that I hadn't seen in a while, and I was like, "Oh, I ain't smoked that. Let me pull that out." So it's
funny.
actually
you were going through it, and you're like, "Ooh, piece of candy! Ooh, piece of candy! Ooh, piece of candy!" It was like that's the funny thing about you got that other humidor, and you're gonna bring that in here. I said I don't want to put that out there because you'll be like, "You said you're gonna come over here and help me out." I'm not.
I needed your help carrying it up the hill. Thought I was gonna die.
I'd hate for you to, feel like I came in and stole your thunder. So I'm just gonna let you continue that project all by yourself.
Dude, I built this place by my own two hands.
But
so
as it is gonna be fun as you go through the humidor behind you, going through it and being like, "Dang, I need another humidor now," because there's just so much stuff in here. And then
I'm looking for a third. I'm looking for a third one.
Remember that we had that.
I'm looking for a third one, and then I'll be done because there's no more room. Unless we move you out into the shop and take your whole space up as a humidor.
That ain't happening because there's some creepy crawlers out there.
If we have 3 of those big Wanador humidors slap full and no more room, we have more cigars, it's time for a major giveaway. That's what I got to say, because we just don't need that many cigars.
Hopefully she's not watching because she'll run out here real fast.
We ain't filled them up yet.
Making poor decisions is 8.5 hours into a 22-hour drive. Good night. Well, hopefully we can provide you up to your 10.5-hour mark with a little bit of fun listening to us as we talk here. A lot of people talking. Jeremy's got a Hoya de Nicaragua Antonio Dark Corojo. Ooh,
good stick.
Love that cigar. Matt Brugger says, "Hey BTCG, Fireborn." Giving a little love back to the Supremo man. Michael Zakvik says, "Are you salty tonight?" Am I salty? I'm not salty. Or maybe you guys are talking back and forth to each other. I don't know. Gary Zanstra has been busy here in Michigan. Worked 16-hour all week taking care of these the trees off the power lines. Oh yeah, Michigan's had like a huge ice storm come through.
Have they really?
Yeah, I saw and I've seen on TikTok a bunch of videos of like pine trees snapping at the midpoint.
Ooh.
It's been impressive. It's kind of like,
and they're violent when they snap.
It's like haunting watching these videos because it's just small strips of wood that have a bunch of pine trees or whatever. They look like pine trees to me, and they're just covered. I mean, it's beautiful. You know what ice looks like. We get ice storms all the time.
It's gorgeous.
Down here. But just watching these trees go down and then snap at the midpoint.
Mm.
I bet you have got yourself a nice set of work cut out for you with the old chainsaw. Be safe for sure. Fireborn says work's irritating. Let's see. Banker John says, Bob Cigar Guy, are all the fires contained? Not 100%, but most of the way now.
Luckily, we had rain a couple days ago.
We had Saturday. It was supposed to start Saturday night, but it was about midday Saturday. We started to get some light rain, and then Sunday it dumped, and then Monday it dumped. So at least where I live, I'm not too terribly far from my parents. I'm about 30 minutes away. I'm a little more like it's kind of like we both live in the foothills of the Appalachians, and so our houses are at the base of two different. It's one ridge, but we're both at the base of them. And so we did. There was a lot because of the rain and the humidity and all the dew point stuff changing. It definitely helped with the fire efforts. The wind just died down. And then we've also there were a couple crews from Montana over here with their airplanes, and they were dropping water. And then we had the big DC-78 or whatever it was that was dropping the fire retardant. We've got helicopters dropping water, so that the weather really helped out with the wildfire. So they are getting better. Gary Brooks says, I got so invigorated by all the brother-in-law leaves and sisters leaves, the great smoke. I've been smoking at least half a dozen a day. Woo! You're almost catching up to Steve Soccer there. I got to get Bob the Cigar Guy, ding. I don't know.
I didn't know either. He's been 6 cigars and six elbows and deep, 6 right?
Bottles, I'm sure if I had more time to sit back and scoot into my computer closer and try to sound that out and not sound like an idiot, I'd figure it out. But Gary Brooks is putting in that work. He is. So I do want to know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? I, again, am smoking the Alec Bradley Maduro chunk this evening. And Bob the Cigar Guy's finishing off a Little Big Delicious.
Which I just found this is the smartest band I've ever seen. That's a tab to pull your band. And it didn't pull.
This is
Dang
live.
it.
This is live. There's no take two.
What? See, the band came perfectly clean. User error. I'll call it user error.
Like, we want to make sure that old Making Poor Decisions has a good ride. He can't watch it, but he can hear it. So, Matt Berger says, last Saturday I had a plane crash into a house just up the street. Good night. The Land of the Giants from Gulliver's Travels. Jeremy says he almost spit. Don't waste that coffee. Especially if it's good coffee. I do want to give a big shout out to Tyler Garcia, Hart Cawthon, and Charles Adamson for hitting the like button over on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, do show us a little bit of love and share it to your favorite Facebook groups as well. And if you're on YouTube, because we got 26 people who are over on YouTube, do make sure that you have hit the like button. We really greatly appreciate it. Fireborn says it's so simple. Wait a minute.
Never mind.
So Michael Zakovic, Rick Carroll, and Brian Castro, thank you for hitting the love button over on Facebook. Do greatly appreciate the love being shared. So in spirit of PCA being next week, I thought I had another cigar here at the studio that I had not smoked yet that was being debuted at PCA, but I think I've smoked through them all, aside from the other Natura cigars, but I didn't want to smoke through them again tonight. I didn't want to smoke another one tonight because even though last week's was really good, I do want to pay more attention to those cigars. And I'm going to be able to see them next week at PCA, which I'm super looking forward to. I also, because this will be the last time that we talk to 30. There it is. Sorry.
By the way, while Chief is writing down his number, I just want to let everybody know that because the Chief Talk show is made in America, there is no added tariff or tax on this show. This show comes to you tax free. That's right. Tax
That's right, baby.
free.
So we are now at 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10 shows out of 15
Pretty
shows
good.
of hitting 30 or more concurrent viewers at one time during the show.
66%.
We could, if we would have hit it last week, we would have been at 9 shows in a row. But we did not hit it last week. We were making up for it. We're sitting at 35 people currently. So everybody who went and switched over to like multiple devices, thank you, appreciate it. Don't switch off all at one time because it'll make it look really suspicious. Let's see, Hunter Otts, what is going on? How are you doing, my brother? Sammy Flo, the barber and cigar, how are you doing this evening? Jerry Brooks says, yesterday I learned that they sell planes with parachute systems in Autoland. Yes, I've seen those.
I have too.
Let's see. Michael Zachbeck with the boom, baby. Chief learning about economics today. I did. I have spent a lot of time looking into the Tim Swanson just texted me.
Did he really?
I should text him. I'm on right now. He said, what time do you normally go on?
We if you'd like for him to come on.
No. I'm not gonna do that. No, not doing that.
Tim is lucky he didn't text me because I would have done it.
So yes, we'll dive. Yes, it says 8:15. Yes, that is correct, sir. All right. All right. Sorry, getting back into. Yes, I have gone into a deep dive. It's Tim Swanson. He's got over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm gonna make sure I chase that nut.
Right.
Not that he's a nut. That's a squirrel chasing a nut. Whatever. Blah blah. Anyways, with
breaking press release, Chief chases Tim's nuts.
We will talk very gingerly about the whole tariff thing. Obviously, we don't get political here on the channel, so I'm going to try to steer it away from politics as much as possible. So please don't try to goad me out.
Don't hijack the feed.
What?
Tell them not to hijack the feed. That's what I was saying.
We do have mods. Well, actually, we only have one mod, and he's actually going to leave. Actually, he just left, so we have no mods on right now. I can mod from my computer, so I don't think we'll have that issue. But yes, I have done a little dive into economics a little bit, and we'll talk about what I feel like it kind of means to an extent. But Fireborn, I'm horrible. I only remembered the like button, but I made it. I'm glad you made it. Let's see. Glad my horrible memory from my corporate finance and economics major could help confuse you. Hey, look, I appreciated everybody who messaged me today. I'm happy. I'm so glad that the PCA put out a statement today. I'm super happy that Tim Swanson put out a video today.
Did you see his short?
No.
He did a short as well, and it was very succinct and to the point. It was very good information. Yeah, it was good.
Yes, Jim. Cigars Daily had a special. Yes, they did. And it's the tariffs. Yes, I think that was actually the video. One of the ways that he phrased or he was explaining it, really not the cheese tax, but just explaining how the tariffs work. Because originally my thought was, well, if I go to the lounge and buy a cigar for $10, well, now they're going to add $1.80 to my cigar. Right. That's not what it is. It's an 18 or whatever % tariff at whatever it's sold at the border, right? The value of it at the border. And again, we'll jump into that a little bit.
What the American manufacturer pays for it.
So basically, what I have come down to understand, and Skip Martin from Romacraft, who seems to be very well versed in his knowledge about the whole entire situation. Obviously, he's a cigar manufacturer who has to do imports into the country because he has Nica Sueño in Nicaragua. Nicaragua being one of the countries that is getting the reciprocal tax rates or whatever, or getting tariffs. So what I have come down to understand is that the manufacturer of the cigar I'm actually going to take my comments away for a minute. So comments are going to continue to roll. I'm just getting distracted by looking at them. I will address your comments in just a second. From what I can understand is the manufacturer, let's say Chief Cigar Company, has a tabacalera in Esteli, Nicaragua. And the price that it costs me to make that cigar through the farm or purchasing tobacco, aging, all the things that go into the price that makes a cigar, let's say it comes to $1, right? And these numbers are vastly exaggerated, but it's easier to do it with percentages when you have a whole
number,
10%, 100% number. So $1 is 100. There's 100 pennies in $1. $10. There's 10 100s.
You have been studying.
I know. I didn't have to take my shoes off for this one.
Yeah,
I just used my fingers to count.
I'm so proud.
I'm killing it. So if it costs me $1, and again, don't take this as gospel. This is just what I feel like I have come to the conclusion to finding. If it costs me $1 to produce, manufacture, and get that cigar to the border, whether it be on a plane or on a boat or a train or a car or whatever, to any border at the United States of America, any port of entry into the United States of America, I am getting the tariff percentage of whatever it is put on me to get into the country, but on the price of what it cost me. So if it cost me $1, they're going to charge me the 18 cents. So now that cigar costs me to get into the country, to get it to my warehouse in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. It has cost me $1.18 to get there. At that point, the tariffs are done. The tariff has been paid. Now,
can we say that tariffs happen at customs?
The port of entry, customs, whatever. To get it into the country, that's what the tariff cost me to get. Now, because I'm a savvy businessman at Chief Cigar Co., it's like the third time this year we've made a Chief Cigar Co. reference. It's not happening. Not yet, at least. 10 more years when the tariffs are back down.
Not by the Cigar Guy Company.
No,
it's
Chief Guy, baby. I'd make better cigars anyways.
Please, my cigar beats yours by miles.
Anyways, it works that way when you have a master blender at Hoyt, Nicaragua helping you.
So you're hating me for being smart?
Anyways, I'm just pointing it out. So, getting back to my points. Now I have the cigar in country for $1.18. Oh man, I paid 18 cents more for that cigar than I've had to pay. So I'm going to charge that 18 cents now on top of what I was already. So if I want to sell that cigar normally to Bob the Cigar Guy's Cigar Lounge, I was selling that cigar to Bob the Cigar Guy at $5 because that now makes me $4 richer per cigar that I sell to him. Obviously, it's not that big of a number, but because of whole numbers and whatnot, it just makes it easier to go this way. So now Bob the Cigar Guy has had to pay $5.18 for that cigar. Oh crap. Now I can sell my cigar at $10 like I was the last time because you mark it up at Keystone for $10. Now I'm just taking an 18-cent hit when I sell the cigar. Or I can just add 18 cents to that cigar because I had to pay 18 cents. Now you're going to pay 18 cents. But now that takes that cigar from $10.18 to $10.36. So I end up paying 36 cents more on a cigar that I would have paid $10 for, instead of what I was thinking was, oh crap, I'm going to have to pay $11.80 for a cigar. Now,
which would have doubled actually, which would have given you $12.36 or $12.60.
But what I originally, like I said, when I was originally looking at the whole tariff idea, was it was just going to be 18 cents across the board on top of what I pay. So I see that 18% number. And I'm like, oh crap, now my $10 cigar is $11.80. It shouldn't be. It's not technically. It's $10.36. Now, what cigar companies do with that money to try to recuperate, we don't know. cigar companies are in the business of making great cigars and making money. They don't make a cigar company to run a charity, right? They're not making cigars to give away cigars. Now, Steve Saka makes cigars that he likes and sells those cigars because he wants to smoke more of his own cigars, because it makes sense for, if I want to smoke my own cigars, I don't want to blend for myself, I got to have tobacco. How am I going to pay for this? Well, if I actually sell some too, then I make my money. So what cigar companies do with price hikes and increases is whatever they choose to do. But if my math is mathing, as long as the goods that are being brought into Nicaragua don't go up because of tariffs, which would make Chief's Cigar Co. in Esteli, Nicaragua now pay more to make that cigar. Now, instead of making that cigar for a dollar, now I'm having to make that cigar for $1.50, and so now I'm adding 50 plus 18 onto the cigar because of, so it you can get lost in the weeds, but it did my little brain a nice scratch by sitting down reading a ton of stuff I'll never ever need to read in my life ever again. But big shout out to Gary Brooks and others, Skip, who commented on my post today, who have posted things. Steve Saka made a post. It was very broad, very vague. And I actually think he did it the best, was like, look, this is what it could be, but I don't know, so I'm not even going to dive into this. Skip Martin took a bigger leap into it because I think he understands it well. Not that Steve Saka doesn't understand it well, but I think Steve Saka is like, I would rather just get through PCA. Because to be honest, like, this could not have come at a worse time for manufacturers, I think, because all they're going to hear, one, the tariffs don't even go into effect until tomorrow, or no, Saturday. And then that's if Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic, or whatever doesn't come back and say, okay, fine, we're going to drop these numbers. We're going to drop our tariffs on you guys. And then it goes back to that flat 10% or whatever that's normally been there. In the first place.
I was thinking about it too. I was like, God, this is the worst time for it to happen with PCA. But then again, I started thinking a little deeper into it. No manufacturer, no cigar company, no cigar manufacturer has zero cigars in America right now. They were prepared for PCA and sent out the big orders. And I don't know if some of these manufacturers are going to say, look, if you buy from me today and you place your orders today, they will be pre-tariff prices.
Well, and that's the thing too.
And that could be they could actually sell more cigars. You know, there's going to be the fear mongers. There's going to be people saying, oh, well, the taxes are going to go up, and then,
works,
you know.
Right. So one of the things that it kind of like, so there's a couple different things that I want to get off my brain here as well, because if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget, and then I'm going to later when I'm talking to Jay on the phone, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I can't believe I didn't say that. And then in 2 weeks when we come back from PCA, I'm not going to remember to have talked about it. Anyways, so one, when it comes to cigars in cigar companies, for the most part, especially bigger companies, they already have cigars here in America. Right. They have warehouses full of cigars.
Right.
So those cigars have already been tariffized, right? They've already been taxed. They've already got them. So technically, those cigars, until they start having to pay for the new ones to come in the country, shouldn't affect the prices. Now, businesses are smart. They're going to say, oh, let's go ahead and get ahead of this, make some extra money on top of the money that we're going to have to pay in the future. Let's just go ahead and get it now. But they already have the next probably year's worth of cigars in country, aside from new releases and things like that. And still, some of those companies are big enough to have a lot of those.
Right.
I've never been to a cigar warehouse in the United States of America. I've been to one in Nicaragua, been to two in Nicaragua. So I know what those warehouses look like. I've heard about warehouses in the United States and them being big and having a lot of cigars here in country because it's cheaper and easier to ship them in country when they're already in country instead of having to worry about them being out of country. Ask Steve Saka with the shipping container full of Dundurma that got stuck in Greece for like 3 months. But I know Steve Saka has a warehouse with cigars in Dunbarton, New Hampshire. I know that Drew Estate has a warehouse in Miami with a bunch of Drew Estate cigars. I know that other companies have warehouses across the country. Nickel Milillo probably has warehouses in Connecticut with tons of his cigars already there.
And the retailers have a ton of cigars too.
Right.
Your larger retailers.
They already have their stock, right? That purchase that they're getting. They want to, have, because you don't want to own a shop. Bob the Cigar Guy Cigar Co. Cigar Lounge doesn't want to, basically it's like living paycheck to paycheck with your stock at your store, right? You
Right.
want to have a cold room that's got $20,000 worth of cigars in there, so that when you empty one of your 2 boxes out in your lounge, you don't have an empty box sitting there and it looks
Right.
bad. You go get another box and you fill that box up, whatever, matzo, or however you do. So I would say we're probably not going to see the effects of that immediately. I think we've got a little while, but it really just depends on what businesses want to do with their thing. Also, the second part that I was going to mention a little bit earlier, and I will get back to comments soon. I promise you I will get to your comments. I'm just trying to get all this out while I'm thinking about it. I look at COVID and the pandemic and the shutdown and how everything got really expensive. And a lot of that had to do with supply and demand. But prices haven't really gone back down. Right. And a lot of people have blamed the economy and inflation and all that other stuff. Let's be honest. For the most part, it's corporate greed. It is using the current financial system that we have here in the United States of America to their benefit. That's how businesses stay in business. That's how businesses get more money. That's how businesses make more things to sell. It's by making money. And if they charged you 10 times more for a 2x4 during COVID and you paid it, and then all the prices come back down and people are still willing to pay that much money for a 2x4, we're going to continue to sell you that 2x4 at 10 times the original value. Not every company does that. And I'm not saying, please don't soundbite that and send it to some of your favorite cigar manufacturers or whoever and say that Chief thinks that the cigar manufacturing companies out there or cigar lounges are going to, just take you for what they can and, leave nothing, left for your vacation in the summer. But that is something to pay attention to. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of get my head around the idea, the grip of the tariff, is when I go to a cigar lounge in this time next year and I see that my favorite Chief Cigar Company cigar is now $2 more than it was last year. Chief, why is this cigar for $2 more instead of the 55 cents more it should be? Well, I'm greedy and I knew that you'd pay it, so you got me. Don't tell nobody. So my brain is back to
normal mode.
It's normal mode.
Limitless. Is that what that movie was?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah. Limitless.
Banker John says, buy American and enjoy the American from Jason Newman. I did think about that because I thought about that too. One of the things I thought about was, well, the tariffs aren't going to affect American-made, cigars that are grown here, rolled here, shipped out of here. But there's JC Newman. It's only JC Newman who makes an American Puro. Right. Right? And that's the only cigar that you could do that with right now. That's the only cigar that you could say that's in mass sales. There's probably somebody making American Puros, but they just don't have a market share. There's your caveat. So there is only, to my knowledge, one premium brand, premium cigar out on the market right now that is completely tariff free, and that is the JC Newman American. And just to let y'all know, not to interrupt Steven's brain overload, we've already talked about PCA and interviews and stuff. We actually talked about tonight. If you're watching our PCA videos, and please watch our PCA videos, but if you're watching our PCA videos and you're looking for tariff content, you're not going to get it. If it happens organically and one of the people being interviewed brings it up, we'll talk about it, but we are not going to be asking the tariff questions because people don't know, and it's going to force them to answer questions they're not prepared to, because they have to say something. I wouldn't say people don't know, because I bet they know. I mean, Skip Martin has demonstrated that he knows. I think Steve Saka knows more than what he's letting on. Right, but it could change. Steve Saka doesn't want to. And that's the thing, is it could change. It doesn't go into effect until Saturday. Things could blow up in between tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday morning at 6 a.m., and it's just washed, no problem. And obviously, that's what we hope for. Gary, FSG is not all American tobacco, right? And it's not rolled in America; it's rolled in Nicaragua, right? The FSG, which is a limited production cigar anymore because you can only get it through Corona, is processed and handled down in Nicaragua. The Angus, the Black Angus, which has FSG tobacco in it, Also, the 20 Acre Farm, which has FSG tobacco in it. There are other FSG tobaccos. There's a lot of tobaccos out. I mean, you've got Connecticut broadleaf and Pennsylvania broadleaf in tons of cigars. Right?
Kentucky Fire Cured.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do. You have the Kentucky Blackfired. You're right.
You got the Pappy Van Winkle.
Well, that's the Kentucky Blackfired.
Right.
So those are cigars that have American tobacco in them, but they are not. They're not American puros, and they're not rolled packaged, distributed. The American, everything is American in that. The ink, the hardware, the wood. She owed me a Dr. Pepper. The ink, the heart, the cellophane, the paper for the bands, the wood, the hardware for the boxes,
everything,
the printing labels, the glue, all that. It is a completely 100% American made product.
That's right.
Smart baby. Mac Bergson, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. I'm sure that you are probably very well versed in a lot of this as well. I'm starting to go down through the comments, so I'm sure there are things that have been said that I've missed that I will come up against here soon. Max says, sadly, we will be paying the tariffs, but that rolls through all the margins of all the channels, so we will be paying through the nose. I am afraid. That's my boy, no. I learned a new term from Skip. Keystone basically means retailers want to maintain their 50% margin, so tariff prices are basically doubled. No one is discussing the cigar price increases. We're also coming before the tariff. Yes, every year, especially at the beginning of the year, companies roll out price hikes due to inflation, due to things getting more scarce, manufacturing costs, cost of living increases, things like that.
Raw materials.
Whittleback Cigar says, since the majority of these are reciprocal tariffs, I'm keeping my fingers crossed they are negotiated down before they actually take effect. And that's something that I think will happen. You've seen that with other countries in the past few weeks where they impose a tariff on us, we impose the tariff back on them, or we impose the tariff on them to get back some of that money, and they said, okay, fine. Instead of that, let's actually just do this. Chieftain Cigars in Miami, made in America, no taxes. Sales guy's going to have to do a lot more talking. Here's my thing, and this is one of the things I was talking with the guys in my my photography group, the Deadly Breakfast Club, who I am so looking forward to being with a handful of them next week. I'm so looking forward to that.
Me too.
The thing about cigars, for the most part, well, not for the most part, but for the people who are probably going to be affected the most are people who, and I don't want to be crass. I don't want to sound rude. I don't want to sound, like I'm trying to shame anybody. So please, if you feel like I'm saying that, I'm not. But a lot of people who buy boxes and things like that, are financially available to just go ahead and do that. Like the people who are, to my knowledge, people who are buying a mass amount of cigars aren't living like a paycheck to paycheck type lifestyle or style of cigar smoking. And so I think, I don't think they're going to lose. I don't think the cigar culture is going to lose anybody because of price hikes. I think the people who don't have the money or who choose not to spend the money on, because I'm one of those people, I don't have the money or choose to spend money on box after box after box. I would love to. I buy cigars at a time, right? I one or two at a time. And it's more expensive in the long run. If I buy, 20 of these Alex Bradley Chunk Maduros, I can get a better deal if I buy a box than instead if I bought them at, a single cigar at a time. I'm going to spend more money over time. But that's something that I can do over time. It doesn't make financial fiscal responsibility sense for me to just go out and buy boxes. The people who are doing that, who are going to see more money because of, you spend more money, 18% get, 18% on $10 versus 18% on $100. Yeah, it's 18%, but that's $18 versus $1.80, right?
And cigars are a luxury item.
Right.
It's not eggs. It's not milk. It's not something that you have to have.
It's not a commodity.
So,
I think that's the right definition there.
It's not, but I understood what you're saying. I wasn't going to correct you.
So, anyways,
a necessity.
Right. It's not necessary, but I don't think the cigar market is going to take that big of a hit. Honestly, they're
I think some manufacturers eat the cost.
I mean, that's what Skip was alluding to.
I mean, that's going to be a good sales tactic. Let's say, look, we love our people so much that we are just going to absorb this cost. And whether they absorb the cost or not, or they pass it on in some other way.
Well, they already put price hikes at the beginning of the year as it is. So they're just not making as much money as they could. And again, what does it come down to? I would love to sit down with somebody off camera and say, how much money do you think you're going to lose this year because of this? Like, this is off the record. I'm not going to publish it anywhere. I'm not going to ever bring this up on stream. I just want to know, Steve Saka, show me how much money you're going to lose this year, how much money you stand to gain this year because of this. And that's just for personal, brain scratching kind of situation.
I've thought about that as well.
Gary Brooks, technically from personal experience in the retail business, wholesalers always apply the increases to existing stock, just like gas prices. So they have it here in America. They're going to run with it. Chief, become an economist for us. Yeah, I'll go work. I'll go work with Drew Newman up in D.C. Law Ream says, I've seen many warehouses. Some are huge, some are tiny. HVC is in a storage unit. All the big guys have
probably basically
your supply in, or nearly, he said nearly. Lawrence Valeria, good to see you, friendo. Let's see. Regardless, I will still be buying, supporting, and enjoying my favorite cigars. And that's one of the things. That's why I say what I just said about people not buying cigars. Is I saw on when Steve Saka posted his thing, people were like, "Look, I'm just gonna take if it's 18% more, I'm gonna take and put 18% more budget in there so that I can buy those cigars. No matter what, I'm gonna keep buying your cigars."
And Steve Saka is different than a lot of manufacturers, at least from what manufacturers say. Steve Saka says, I put in a percentage of profit per cigar across the board. Let's say it's 17%. I don't know what the number is. And so the Todos Los Dias, when it sells, he marks up 17% over his cost. The Sin Compromiso, the Unicorns, whatever, it's 17% across cost,
that's
whatever it is. That way he doesn't have to say, well, I need to sell more of this.
I think that's the easiest thing to do. I don't think that's ultimately what it will come down to. One of the things
that's just what Steve does. I'm not saying that's what.
One of the things that I read today was the tariffs can give an opportunity to manufacturers to argue for better prices for the goods that they buy as well. Now, I, with Chief Cigar Co., can go to my growers down the street in Jalapa and say, hey, man, these tariffs they're really going to eat me up. Is there any way that, if I buy 10% more product from you, could you lower the price
per unit
for me so that I can still make money? You're supplying more, you're making more money, but I'm also saving myself some money, and that eats into that tariff line. Again, you get into the American public knows that we're going to be 18% more tariff. So if we put an 18% flat rate across the board, they're going to understand why. It just comes down to, will the companies eat the money? Will the companies make the money? Will they screw you? Will they not?
And if tariffs do what they're supposed to do, which you have to have money to run the government, and you can either get that money from the people who live in the country, or you can get money from people who bring money into the country. And tariffs is supposed to minimize the amount of money that us as Americans pay in taxes. And so that is going to give us the ability to have more money.
To my knowledge, right? Tariffs are kind of an incentive to bring companies back to the country so that you don't have to pay them. Like if you're a company who, let's say Chief's Automobile Co. was making, cars in South Carolina, right? I was making my own version I'm making scooters, baby, high-powered racing scooters. But I found out that if I went to Venezuela, I could make them for half price and get them in the door, and I could double my money. And so old Papa Trump comes and says, you know what, we're going to put a 75% tariff down on Venezuela because I want you to bring those jobs back to America, make your money, and not have to pay these tariffs. And I say, you know what, Papa Trump, I'm going to do that. I'm going to come and I'm going to bring my business back to South Carolina, and I'm gonna make my money there. When it comes to cigars, it's not exactly like you can't just do that, right? You could make a bunch of American puros, but I don't know. With the we've talked, Bob Cigar, you have a very good knowledge of like the combustibility of cigars and whatnot, and why American puros aren't all. Why using just Connecticut broadleaf in a cigar is not a good idea, right? But it would be interesting to see if maybe some more companies do start to outsource to Jeff Borshowitz, or companies start saying, you know what,
or if they buy the tobacco and roll it in America.
You still would have to pay.
Not as much though.
I don't know. I mean,
you'd have to pay for the raw materials coming in.
The thing though there is would it be financially savvy to pay American workers prices after importing that tobacco to America?
Well, I didn't know this until the election happened, when the tariff thing started coming up and things started popping up. I did not know we were tariffed so high by so many countries. That this is not something that America's just trying to be mean and say, hey, we're going to do this to everybody because we can. We're the biggest guy on the block. Everybody's been doing it to us unfairly and unevenly. And I believe some of that was us helping out other countries, and some of it was again, we can afford it.
I don't want to turn this into an overall tariff show because I did not do that much research. So I'm not going to sit here and negotiate, because I think that's something you can get into a political debate, and I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that either.
Semi-Flo, I agree with you. We're going to Chief cannot use anything other than if it's made in America. All parts of all camera parts and lenses. We're going to get rid of all the other stuff.
Don't say that, because
we're going to get rid of all the other lenses. We're going to get rid of all the other everything else. And he's going to have to get.
Stop talking. Francesco sent a thing in the group chat today about some of the tariffs that are being imposed on Japan. And Japan is responsible for Sony and also Sigma. And one of the lenses that Sony just put out, a 400 millimeter prime, could possibly go up almost $4,000.
All right, I will say right here on the channel in front of God and everybody that Chief will not get any agreement from me on, hey, we need to do a pre-tariff purchase of, I need 6 lenses, 2 more camera bodies.
I think about sending you a message today for us to go ahead and buy stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
Gary Book says, I'm not giving up on my delicious New World cigars to smoke just the American, just like I'm not giving up on Scotch for an American single malt. Whatback says, yeah, at that point, you might as well just go Cuban. So Mexico can just drop tariffs on avocados, and the avocado farmers can increase their prices in kind of a net zero game for us. So by the logic of reciprocity, we should all go global free trade the libertarian way.
I don't disagree.
Mac Bergson says it's a great evening for Bergson Tool Sales. Raul, welcome in. Bob Ellis, had a lesson today with my first graders about wants and needs. I don't need cigars, but I sure do want them. I didn't use that example. Cigars are a luxury good, so maybe some people downsize in brands, but they will still smoke. Crowns, the economical choice.
I wonder if manufacturers will start dropping off Vitolas if these tariffs stay for a long period of time. Will they slimline their offerings to dial it in a little bit?
But here's the thing: if you can make more money through the tariffs and people are still buying, would you drop your portfolio, or you just keep making money hand over fist?
I might slimline it a little bit, to be honest.
Peter Jones, what's up, everyone? I hope all is well. Just checking in as I get a trailer worked on. Chief is making cigars in cars now. He's killing it. That's right, baby. 2035 is going to be a big year. Yes, the hope is to bring jobs back to the U.S. The problem is building a new plant in the U.S. It's a good 2 to 3 years, and since these are executive orders, it might all change with a new administration.
If you know any young people getting out of high school or starting to go into college, I highly, highly recommend you would encourage them to pick up a trade, whether it be welding, HVAC, plumbing, or something like that, all in the commercial industries. Because there is going to be a lot more building. The $7 trillion has been put into building right now.
He says he's sucking fish up in North Michigan.
There's going to be a huge need. And a good welder, you're making $100,000 easy your first year and a half, 2 years as a tradesman. So your electricians, your plumbers, your AC people.
Thank you, Shop Foreman Bob the Cigar
No,
Guy.
I'm telling you, this is the time for
So
that.
Gary Brooks says, shoot, I was just thinking I'd love to try an all Connecticut broadleaf. So basically what I've learned on Cigar Safari at both Hoyt, Nicaragua and Drew Estate, and talking with Willie Herrera and seeing other things put up in other places, when it comes to one type of leaf cigars, it's just not, you might have the things that you desire in a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. If you make it a Connecticut broadleaf puro, you're not going to experience that. Also, combustibility and whatnot. One of the reasons for blending a cigar isn't just so you can impact a whole bunch of different flavors. It's also so that cigar will burn for you.
And smoke, right? and your smoke output. The four things they chase is aroma, smoke, combustibility, and flavor.
You don't want to, Connecticut broadleaf, right, is a heavy hitter of tobacco. Like,
it's a beast.
I don't know if you'd want. I don't know if I would want to smoke a Connecticut broadleaf puro just by the stance of how strong that thing.
I don't want to take a nap.
Would be. There it is. Semi Flow says, Bob, you better pay Chiefs Lens. Or pray Chiefs Lens are made in the USA. There goes the budget. Woodback says, let's crowdfund our own tobacco farm. Shoot, man. Awesome. Peter Jones says, from what I understand, is the automakers don't pay tariffs on parts imported, so
yet
unrolled tobacco is parts of a cigar, so why would they pay tariffs on the unrolled
They're
tobacco?
Supposed to come out with a tariff on parts possibly as early as May. I work at an auto manufacturing company.
What? Wow, we didn't know that.
And they're telling us all sorts of stuff. They're putting out all sorts of things in our daily news, and they are very against tariffs because the company is an international company, and so it makes it very hard. A suckerfish, a Plecostomus.
Ugh, you guys eat those?
They big. They big.
Oh, I'm finally getting down to the last of the comments. We are free to produce and compete, but we don't always. It's the American way. The parking lot at work I park in is called Free Enterprise. You can't get AI to do welding. I don't know. You seen some of these robots? Chief, you messed up. Should have asked Mom first, and she'd asked BTCG for lenses and gear.
Nope. Nope. So, Chief got 5 lenses this year.
No.
In a big case.
No. I bought that with my own money.
And a monitor and a mega battery with a kickstand. And I mean, oh my gosh.
Oh man, yeah, you'll sure be complaining at PCA next week when I'm catching all this stuff and not having to worry about battery prioritization. Mike Zakovic says the things my son is learning in the Navy, he will be making the big bucks when he gets out. Nice. BMW built on an amazing plant in South Carolina. What else do you want? You pickle or smoke them. Oh. Mama's baby boy gets everything he wants. First class tickets, Pelican case. I bought the Pelican case with my own money, not channel money.
She called him Dave from Costco, said, hey, there's this white
robots already
shirt.
Make amazing welds. Automation isn't always about AI. Bob dropping knowledge. Chief ignoring it. Come on now. Who is this? You ain't been around long enough to be making jokes at Chief.
No, you are. You're on point.
Peter Jones, thanks for clarifying, Bob. I appreciate it. No.
So we have another big thing we need to talk about.
Okay.
And it's kind of sad. And it will impact PCA, I believe.
Oh, AJ Fernandez?
AJ Fernandez.
Yes. So that was the second thing that I wanted to talk about. I definitely wanted to make sure we talked about tonight. And again, this comes with a huge disclaimer at the front. We know nothing. We speculate everything. Don't take anything we say as truth and gospel except what's already been put out there. So truth and gospel is AJ Fernandez had a warehouse burned down. The warehouse that burned down was responsible for finishing and packaging and storage. That's the bare bones truth of it.
Had a lot of finished product, a lot of boxes.
To my knowledge, 2 companies have come out and said that there will be
issues,
distribution changes. We don't know how much that is. That could be 10% of the portfolio. It could be 1% of the portfolio. It could be 75% of the portfolio. We don't know. In the cigar world, many companies rely on other companies for tobacco. That we had Terrence Riley on at the beginning of the year, and Aganor Salif But, a lot. The saying goes, you may not have smoked an Aganorsa leaf, but you have smoked an Aganorsa leaf, because Aganorsa supplies so many
tobacco,
companies with tobacco. Drew Estate, who has a butt ton of brands, grows none of their own tobacco. Right? They buy tobacco. Aganorsa leaf has a good amount of brands. They make all their tobacco. I can't say that. Maybe they outsource tobacco from other companies. I'm not sure. But I know they grow a lot of tobacco and they provide a lot of tobacco for other people. AJ Fernandez happens to blend and roll and produce a lot of cigars for people. Steve Saka has Hoyt, Nicaragua, produce a lot of his cigars. There companies out there don't all have their own factories. They have parts of factories that somebody else basically sublets out to them or does the work for them. They make money off of it. One of those companies at AJ Fernandez being Artesano del Tobacco with El Pulpo, the Jester, Foundation also. So the two companies that put out the statements that said that I've seen, there may have been more, but I know there are at least two companies who have put out something that said, yes, there are going to be supply chain disruptions because of the fire, are Artesano del Tobacco and Foundation Cigars. Nick Melillo has some cigars that are made by AJ Fernandez. I don't know if it's all of his cigars. I can't say that for sure or not. It might just be some of his cigars. I believe Artesano.
Didn't they change some to My Father's?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
no,
because
did they go to My Father or did they leave My Father?
I think they went to My Father's because some of the blends, you could taste the difference in the flavors between the different rollers or between the different factories.
Gary Brooks, that's one of the things that I've kind of leaned on is Adventura was somebody who experienced a huge warehouse fire a couple years ago, and they have seemed to rebound well as well. And that's one of the things. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but I definitely want to say it before somebody says it in the chat and thinks that I took it from them. One of the things that is awesome about the cigar industry is their willingness to come alongside somebody else and say, look, I know you lost all your stuff. I know you lost your tobacco. I know you lost this, and this. We have some. We'll give it to you. We'll sell it to you. We'll sell it to you at a discount price or whatever. You guys, we can roll your cigars, whatever. I don't know what all is going to come on it. Again, it's all speculative. But the cigar industry does a really good job of taking care of their own. They have always, that I've noticed, they seem to continue to do it, and I think it's something that will go forward into the future.
Agreed.
But that does not mean that because somebody lost a large portion of their portfolio means that they're going to be able to remake it up in the next quarter or not. It might be.
It takes a long time to make a cigar,
right? Because you got to age the tobacco.
You got to grow the tobacco.
You got to grow the tobacco. You got to ferment the tobacco. Well, some companies have a lot of tobacco, right? We went to Drew Estate's warehouse, and they have a warehouse of just bales of tobacco,
right?
And it's not just a little bitty warehouse that Paul was talking about with the storage container. It's a football field.
They have two of them now.
Tall. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I know Drew Estate's not the only company in the
world.
But
you still have to peel on your tobacco. You still have to,
you got to ferment. You've got to roll.
That could be 2 years. Yeah. I mean, and then you've got to get into production because they already have those productions set up already. So now they got to put in double time, overtime.
And then you also don't want to just rush something to market.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
Then your brain can take a hit. Oh, man, let's get these cigars out as fast as possible. Well, these cigars suck because
they're not as good as they used to be. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, it would be if you go to a lounge and you see a cigar that is going to be affected by this. Sammy Flo was saying, go ahead and find your Tabernacles. Tabernacle fans, grab what's in stock now. If you see it and you don't want to have to worry about taking a long time to find it, and you got the ability to do it, probably do grab it. I've seen that Southern Draw has been posting a lot about the fire. My father makes the new Wiseman Maduro. Gary Book says, this reminds me of the natural disasters that affected computer memory prices in the past. Jim, it is a big family. That's why the cigar industry and cigar smokers are the best. We take care of our own. They understand that elevating each other benefits everyone. And that's the thing is, it's kind of you don't do it as I scratch your back, you scratch my back, but it's definitely, I'm doing this because I care. I don't want to see you go down. They're in competition with each other because they want to sell cigars, but ultimately, once you're hooked on a brand, I don't want to offend anybody with this, but it's almost the cigar industry from a cigar connoisseur standpoint is very autistic in the sense of like you find something that you like and you stay on it. when you think of some signs of autism, it's like, well, man, all they do they only eat Big Macs every day. How is that? How do you not get tired of it? It's like, well, there's something in the
Like the
brain
guy
that
that
says,
sneaks in grilled cheese. You ever seen those
well,
videos?
that's on Down syndrome, not autism.
He's always sneaking a grilled cheese.
Where'd you get that cheese, Danny? So, but it definitely is. I think there's a part in the back of the mind that says, look, this could happen to me. Warehouse fires aren't, abnormal. Like it's pretty common stance to have in the past few years, I think you've had 3 or 4 warehouses, catch on fire and burn down. And you're still on.
Yeah. Everything's combustible.
Well, that was, and I'm not going to jump into it, because I think you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. But Mike from Postani had found an article that talked about some of the capsules that they mix with water.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna age well. I was kind of surprised they actually said that.
It can turn it into a combustible environment,
yeah,
and things like that. I'm not gonna
talk about the fumigation stuff.
And he said that it was hearsay, that he couldn't say, whether or not. I think he was just trying to get out and have something that was relevant for people to click on and whatnot.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said
it's a great media tactic. We don't do a whole lot of that, but and not saying that it's bad to do. I would just not want to stake my reputation on that, because that could backfire. But I mean, people do what they want to do. I don't care. Free country. Say what you want. So there's obviously there's going to be an investigation at some point. They'll find out what it was. Maybe a wire short circuit, and that's one of the things that people worry about being in third world countries. Not to say that the companies who are American run aren't putting the greatest safety standards that they can in a third world country, but obviously building codes in Nicaragua or Honduras or the Dominican Republic are probably a little different.
Do you remember that street we went on where we got the leather boots and all the other stuff? There was literally, I took pictures of it. There were phone poles way up in the air, and this was a dirt road, a bad cobblestone dirt road, and there was 400 or 500 wires, just little wires, just stringing off this thing. Like people had climbed up the pole and stuck their electric wire to it. It was culture shock.
Gary Brooks is backing up my shout. Zeroed in on DTT, so I understand, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think because I'm a big Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust fan too. I mean, if I was forced at gunpoint to choose 2 brands, I'm going to Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust and Drew Estate, no problem. Now, if you made me pick one, I'm really going to have a hard time, because I love both of those brands. I mean, I already feel bad saying 2 when I love Foundation as much as I do, but I definitely.
You wouldn't go with Crowns?
I said cigars. Gary Brooks says, unlike the Bourbon Rickhouse disasters, where they take the surviving stock and make a special reserve for the money. One of the things that Brian brought up in our group chat was, I wonder if that fire smells any better than a normal fire.
I bet it does.
I bet it doesn't. I mean, you're thinking you've got infrastructure burning, so what's probably more pungent, the plastic on the wires and the rubber seats and all that stuff that are in there, or the 1,000 bales of tobacco? I don't know.
I don't ever want to see that happen, but if it does, I'm going to breathe deeply. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's full of asbestos, but man, I smelled it.
I died, but I'll tell you what, I died with my boots on and cigars in my lungs.
I was going to be on an infomercial in 20 years, though. If you've been exposed to mesothelioma, you may have a class action lawsuit available.
God, there we go. Cancel culture has done hit us now. Your numbers
Fireborn
says,
so AJ Fernandez will release Nicaraguan Fire Cured. Seriously, I love AJ. Some of my favorites are by AJ. Yeah, and I mean, it sucks, right? There's going to be, AJ Fernandez cigars. There's going to be other companies that are going to have their cigars affected by it. That is something that I'm sure will come up at PCA, and that's something that I definitely don't mind Bob the Cigar Guy asking in any of his questions or coming up in comments. Obviously, the tariffs is a little more polarizing.
We have an interview with AJ Fernandez, don't we?
We do. We have an interview with AJ Fernandez. We have an interview with Artisanal Del Tobacco. We have an interview with Foundation Cigars. So there's a chance that we had that question come up a couple times. Altadis actually has a bunch of cigars that are rolled by AJ as well. And we also have an Altadis interview. While I am talking about that, I do want to update because we will not have a stream. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, we're leaving in a week.
We will not have a stream between now and PCA. So I have pretty much, I think, finalized our interview times. I have added a handful of interviews since last week or the week before when we talked about it last. I don't remember which one it was, but I do want to let you guys know what interviews to expect. So I'm just going to read them in order. We're going to have Drew Estate, JC Newman. These are the companies that you can look forward to content coming out from PCA for. They're already booked. Drew Estate, JC Newman, Adventura, Gurkha, Postani, JRE, which is a handful of companies, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust, and then Black Star Line, all for Saturday. I have booked every single time slot on Saturday except for the last time slot. And I'm going to leave it that way because we've been invited to a during PCA VIP thing.
And Chief will post all those up Saturday night.
No, it will not. On Sunday, we start out with Foundation. Then we go to Zeno, Camacho, Avo, Davidoff. So we may get a chance to hit all four of them during that time. And then we have AJ Fernandez. Then after AJ Fernandez, we have Natura Cigar. Then we've got Black Label Trading Company, which with Black Label Trading Company, we could get Black Label and Black Works. Then we have West Tampa and Stolen Throne to ride out the end of Sunday. And then Monday, which is the big open day where we're going to try to get a lot of other content than just interviews. We have Rabbit Air, we have Altadis, and Altadis could be one interview, it could be 10 interviews. I don't know how many interviews we're going to be able to have there. I have actually blocked off the hour behind our interview time with Altadis just in case we do have 10 interviews and we need a lot of time to be able to get all that stuff in. And then Aganor Salif is our last current company to have responded with times. I do have emails out there to other companies who could respond at any moment in time between now and next week. So available time slots, I have one on Sunday, one on Saturday, two on Sunday, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available on Monday.
But and then you have your pop-ups too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies on here that have said, hey, we can't give you a time, or they have a time that interferes with a time we already have booked, but because most of these interviews don't take an hour time, we might be able to slide on over to that company and get an interview during that time slot as well. So we have Artisanal del Tobacco, Ferio Tego, Ellie Blue, Villiger, Leffen Lons, and Placencia. This year, companies that are first times for us are, and I'm going to count these, even though these are technically companies that we've been invited to come by. We might not be able to make it work, so maybe they show up, maybe they don't, but I'm going to count them. Placencia will be new to us this year. Ellie Blue will be new to us this year. Ferio Tego is new to us this year. Altadis is new to us this year. Stolen Throne is new to us this year. Natura Cigar is new to us this year. AJ Fernandez is new to us this year. Zeno, Davidoff, Avo, Camacho, all new to us this year. Black Star Line, new to us this year. JRE, which is a couple brands, new to us this year. And that's it for new companies. Companies that we're going to see that we didn't see last year. Gurkha, we did not see Gurkha last year. Foundation, we did not get to see them last year. West Tampa, we did not get to see last year either. And then companies that will be our third time in a row getting to be with them. JC Newman, Drew Estate, Adventura, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. We didn't do Black Label Trading last year either.
No.
We didn't do Foundation last year. Rabbit Air we didn't do last year. Aganorsa Leaf will also be. So we have less repeats than we have newbies.
It's interesting.
Three-time repeats are actually Drew Estate's not even three-time repeat. They're just a double repeat because 3 years ago they weren't there. So 3-year repeats. We're going to have J.C. Newman, Adventura, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. So that's 3. And Aganorsa Leaf. That's 4 companies. So a lot of new content that's going to come out this year. Artisanal del Tobacco. Sorry, we did them. This will be the 3rd year with them. And Villiger would also be a 3rd time. Leff and Loms would be a 3rd time with them as well. So still more new than not.
And a lot of that's because
of me.
They get to know us, number one. Number two, Steven has been hound dogging them and getting everybody out there. But also, it's y'all watching the videos because business is business. And so you've got all these media people reaching out to them. And I guarantee that some of them have pulled up our YouTube channel or our socials and seen what it looks like. You know, how many views do they get on videos and stuff like that. So y'all watching our videes gives us the opportunity to give you good content.
Watching is the number one. You know, watching, reacting to the videos is the number one thing. But then sharing obviously is huge because getting our videos out to people who don't normally see them, that's how you grow. So looking forward to that. I do hope that when we go by the My Father booth, they say, "Oh yeah, sorry we never got back to you. Come by whenever you can." I've also reached out to Fratello. They would not be a 3rd year in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Companies that I have reached out to and have not heard back from yet are Perdomo, Padron, Warfighter, Crown Heads, Karen Burger, La Flor Dominicana, Warped, Tatawahe, Oliva, Luciano, Forged, who would have a bunch of companies who we got to see last year. Maybe we get to see them as well. Cavalier, reached out to them. Didn't hear anything back either. And then My Father. So maybe we see those guys and they're like, "Hey, yeah, come on by. You know, we'd love for you to do a quick thing or whatever." And PCA allows for us to be able to do that. I might just have to make sure I take as many of my memory cards that I can find. Let's see. Gary Brooks says, "Don't forget to interview Abe." I think that's just going to be a, "Hey, Abe, when can we do this?" I have not reached out to him yet. Maybe I do. I don't know. I'm not sure how I want to go about doing that yet. What a list. Can't wait. Next week is Jay Bates Talk from his Garage. Spring Bling Edition, baby. I got to get that Black Label boombox. Yeah, man. That
thing
went up.
was amazing.
That went up today on Chevetta Report. Fireborn.
19 cigars.
Fireborn says, "Chief, I hope you don't find that every other interview is on the opposite side of the venue. LOL, get your cardio in." Look, this is my 3rd year in a row going to PCA. I expect to have to run from one side of the show to the other. Now, that's why I block out an hour of time because I can, usually, on average, I think the interview process of us showing up, talking, discussing what we're going to talk about, shooting, parting our ways with familiarities and saying, "Hey, sponsor us next year," is about 30 minutes on average, I would say. You've got a lot of companies who are less than that. You've got a couple companies who are longer than that. Drew Estate's going to be longer than that because we've already booked out 45 minutes with them. Dunbarton primarily
JC Newman
goes over that. JC Newman goes over that. Aventura goes over that.
Foundation.
Not Aventura. Foundation could definitely go over that. Aganorsa Leaf will go over that. That's why I'm also not blocking out the hour behind that because I might get an hour interview with Fabian and an hour interview with Terrence. I don't know how it's going to go.
Chief will be on the other side of the camera doing this.
Chief is the Walker Cronkite of the cigar world. Get them comfy shoes on. Yeah, buddy. I got 2 different pair of Air Max 90s that I'm wearing. They are very comfortable. They are very stylish, and I am looking forward to having nice, comfortable shoes. These Air Max 90s are the same ones I had last year, and they did a wonder for me. You'll have to use a timer with Sokka. I do every year. Last year, I
You'll have to
actually
use a timer with
I
me
did.
with Sokka.
I did my watch last year to you last year, and Sokka literally said, "Oh, he's hitting his watch. We got to go." It was almost like
And
offended that I was trying to get out of there.
And we just kept talking.
Ooh, time to light up a Dumbarton Tobacco Trust smoking emerald fish. Let's see. I don't think I've missed anything else. So yeah, we got PCA next week. We will not have Chief Talk because at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, I will be in the air flying from Dallas to New Orleans. So I will not be broadcasting live from the plane. Probably won't have any live show happen on Thursday night either, even when I land for a late show. I don't know. Maybe I do a late show. Maybe I just say screw it, and Brian and I and you sit in front of the camera, and I don't know. We need to make sure we take this and the desk pod. We need to make sure we take this whole thing. Sorry. Just in case. I know that we've talked about possibly using your phone, but if we do end up using the computer for anything, it'd be nice to have.
Right.
What else? So yeah, I don't think we'll end up doing a stream Thursday night. If we do, it's going to be total chaos and just we're chilling, hanging out, and whatnot.
You're not going to be until late, right?
Right. I don't drop until 10:40 Central Time, and that means I'm probably not going to get to the house around 11:30 Central Time. But Friday is nothing but check in and sitting at the classes, so. I'm going to also be hanging out with my boy Brian Supremo Tobacco. So I might just be chilling, hanging out with him. So don't expect anything Thursday night next week. But Bob Cigar Guy will be doing lives. We've not fully decided whether he's going to start doing lives on Friday night or not yet. He might not. We don't know. It just have notifications turned on for sure. But there will be no Chief Talk next week because I'm going to be flying and landing and getting into the house and smoking and hanging out with my boy Brian.
Gary Brooks says Sokka needs to give you one of those watches. I noticed in this thing where he does the giveaways and stuff to the cigar retailers, and he made sure that he said retailers, so media is not going to be funny. in that watch.
He put a thing in the Sokka Squatch Facebook page that was like, well, if you guys had to vote which one cigar shops were going to put their ticket into for the watch, which one would you put? So I commented underneath it, why don't you just give me a ticket and I'll show you next week? No, I think that's really awesome that he does that. And he's not the only company who does that. He's the only company that I know that does the watches. And he made a post about that. He wants to do something like that for the retailers because obviously they're spending a lot of money, right? So it's a way, he's going to make a lot of money. His company's going to make a lot of money. So his company has the ability to buy those nice watches to raffle off. So I love that there is that opportunity. But I tell you what, it does make me a little jealous that there's not a media like little hokey pokey watch or something like that.
We couldn't do it anyway. I mean,
any media who comes by and interviews gets a ticket. Shoot, man,
dude, we're sponsored by Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. It would be wrong for us to.
We're not the only streaming sponsors.
I don't care.
I do. I like giving you a new watch. I wear it on.
I don't care. We couldn't do that. That just would be bad because then somebody would say, "Oh, well, he just gave it to."
When he says
Bob.
"we," he means him and the mouse in his pocket. So, Sammy Flo wants to know, Bob, will you do a pop-up show from the road with the First Lady?
I guarantee we're gonna spend a lot of time on that.
If I know Bob, he's gonna definitely either do the bathroom sticker bandit or something stupid like that. So definitely expect some content on the Facebook page. YouTube, I really hope we do keep it kind of clean. I know Bob was talking about he's done a bunch of interviews that he wants to release, but honestly, I think he's not remembered that in the past what we do is he just doesn't make content for a while.
Too late.
Well, that content might have to wait because
I've got so much content.
That content might have to wait.
No, it's already scheduled, but we could throw more than one video up a day.
It just hurts. It hurts the analytics.
Nah, it doesn't hurt it at all.
Okay.
People will watch both.
Sammy Flo says, do you know how many media people attend? I don't. it kind of there's so, and I don't ever want to come off as snobby or anything like that because we are a small media entity.
There are different levels of media.
There's big media like Half Wheel and Dojo and Coop, right? Those are well, Tim Swanson's not going to be there this year, from what I remember hearing. So those channels, the big boys, they're there. We fit the middle of the middle category. We're probably on the lower end of the middle of the run category. And then you've got people who are, media on Instagram or media on Facebook only or media on YouTube only. And again, I don't want to sound snobbish or anything like that, but there's a lot of media that I've never heard of either, who do their own websites, and I've just never come across them before.
And then there is a small category of people that call themselves media, and all they do is they're snatching cigars.
I did not say that.
I did. That's the truth. Very few.
Jack Heyer.
Hey, did you watch Jack Heyer's interview with How About Them Cigars?
I saw he was on.
I watched it. It was hilarious. The dog is delightful and lovely. That thing is tiny and very thin. You need to feed that dog. But Jack was hilarious and awesome and polished and very informative and fun at the same time. I'm so looking forward to getting to hang out with Jack Heyer.
I am really looking forward to Sunday because I have not seen Jack Heyer since 2022, and I get to see Jack. Hopefully, I'll see him before then, but I definitely get to see him on Sunday at PCA. I'm really looking forward to that. Gary Brooks says, "Take the first lady for some of that Nala Bouillabaisse." I don't know what that is either.
She's going to get some, I guarantee, Cafe du Monde and beignets. I have asked her for
beignets and sugar coffee. You mean
boudin for every day from gas stations.
Yes.
Jack says he's wearing a very interesting outfit. He said there's going to be lots of photos taken, and evidently he revealed that Camacho had come out with a swag of see-through pants. He said it did not go over well, but
is that so that people could see the stamp better?
He has a new tattoo.
Oh, nice. No, I saw that he was going to be on, but I ended up not being able to watch. I'm actually going to be. They have me scheduled to be on. How about that cigar? In the end of May, I do believe it is. So let me pull it up real quick. Let me pull that up. Not that one. I had so many emails in the last week and a half.
Hundreds.
No, not that one.
Gary, every gas station makes amazing boudin down there. It's like being in South Carolina and getting gizzards from the gas station. That's, it's just, you can't be bad in that kind of food from that area. So,
May the 12th, I will be on the How About That Cigar live show. I'm looking forward to that. I don't expect many people to come out and watch that at all. I'm not that interesting of a person on my own.
So not true.
So I don't know what
you have your own show.
I'm sure there will be. I'm sure a couple of them have friended me on Facebook from How About That Cigar. So I'm sure they have gone through photos and they have found my Highland Game stuff. Maybe they've found my cancer stuff. And maybe they just have, questions about another cigar live show host and my experiences with that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time I've ever been on another show outside of the bearded guys. I've never been on Cigar Dojo.
Lie.
I have not.
We were right out there barbecuing. It was
not
the barbecue
by myself.
thing.
Not by myself. Like, that was a Bob the Cigar Guy in Chief kind of sort of thing. But I have never been a featured guest on somebody else's show before, so definitely looking forward to it for sure. Gary Brooks says the gas station Bodan, is that like Duquesne's 3-day pocket poi? I don't know. I guess gas station boudin would be like having gas station chicken tenders here. So,
Well, that's why I said gizzards.
Livers, gizzards, and hearts.
I ain't doing gizzards, but I ain't doing livers. I do gizzards and hearts, though.
Gary Brooks says, I get boiled peanuts from the gas stations down your way. I will have to check out the gizzards. Yeah, boiled peanuts, baby. Yeah, semi-float.
All peanuts.
So no, I am. There are many people that I'm super looking forward to seeing at PCA. Obviously, it starts off with my Deadly Breakfast Club boys.
So who do you hug first, Law Ream or Jack Hire at the Davidoff area? See, hard. I'm having a hard time with that. I guess I'm going to have to try and hug them both at the same time.
Oh, man. I bet I'll see Law before I see Jack, though. But if I saw them at the same time, oh, man. I think it's Jack, honestly. Jack, I don't think he's watching anymore, but Jack has done a lot for the Bob Cigar Guy YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
With his time at Drew Estate. Jack has done, and I've known Jack longer than I've known Law too. I talk with Law more often, and I've seen Law more recently. Law's been here at the studio, signed right there. But Jack has done a
volumes.
He's done a huge thing for us to even have this studio. Even before, we've always known him at Drew Estate, but the first time we ever met him was when he was fresh with Drew Estate and just left Cigar Dojo. And just the wisdom that him and Eric were able to give us with some stuff was huge in the first place. But then Jack Hire being instrumental in a lot of our growth. Not to say that Law hasn't also done a lot for us as
volumes.
Well, Jack definitely made it to where we could be at a point where Law was impressed with the things that we had. Fireborn says group hugs are the best, and I got really long arms, so they stretch a really long way. Jack is the man. Gary Brooks says, I'm excited for you guys and a little jelly. Don't be jealous. We're going to take you along with us as much as we can.
We would have hugged you when you were here, when you drove down for the Great Smoke. But,
Gary Brooks says, speaking of the studio, I want to see that Drew Estate bar on display. If we don't have enough room in the studio for it, it's up in the loft. On the loft in the shop.
It's on its side.
We'll let you look at it.
It's up there.
We are going to have to one day when Bob Cigar Guy and the First Lady sell this property and go make another property. We're going to build a studio that's a lot bigger than this one.
It's going to be
huge. We will definitely have that as a showpiece in the room for sure.
Absolutely.
Law, he has been in studio. He has been here. Studio expansion. One day in the future, we are. If you want to see a studio expansion sooner rather than later, make sure you're sharing this across your socials because the more exposure, the more we can charge people in the future, or the more people that we can find. We do have, the opportunity to possibly talk to cigar companies while we're at PCA to see if they are interested in sponsoring anything. I definitely don't want to go to these people that, one of the great things about having a bunch of new faces at PCA is, do you guys have sponsorships? Like, is there a way that we could sponsor your guys' show or, do anything to get our stuff out there on your website or whatnot? Why, yes, there is. But we're not going to these companies. We have no intention of going to new people and saying, hey, you want to give us money?
Right.
We don't do that. And we probably suffer because of that a little bit, that we don't market ourselves as much. We talked about that a little bit last week with the YouTube rules and why we don't approach some types of companies, because just the YouTube rules kind of prevent us from.
And we want sustainable growth as well. We don't want to have a year where we get a ton of things and then we can't meet people's expectations and then they don't come back. We want to have long-term relationships.
Money, more problems, but more money means you got money to throw at them problems. So, Fireborn says, auction the beard to raise money for a studio project. It's a possibility. I mean, I am getting it trimmed.
No, last time he wanted to auction the beard, he wanted to keep the money in his own pocket. No,
It was for a lens that benefits the channel. by the way. Ron, hello guys from Hong Kong Airport. Off to Taiwan to spend the weekend with my family. Good luck and hope you guys have fun at PCA. Ron, enjoy your flight. Be safe. Enjoy your time with your family. Hug tight. But no, yeah, PCA. It is. I'm super looking forward to it. There's a lot of stress that comes with it, and
Huge.
I feel like I've done a really good job dealing with my workload leading up to PCA. I don't like cold calling people and saying, "Hey, can we come by and talk to you guys?" They expect it, but there's also a part of me that's like, man, I bet these guys are hoping they don't get emails from media unless it's Half Wheel or Dojo or Coop, right? So, but maybe this year we're at 9,000 subscribers. Maybe this time next year we've had such a successful PCA that we're at 19,000 subscribers. You never know. It ain't gonna happen, but you never know. And then we get put into the same conversations as the big boys. Maybe one day we get lumped into those conversations. So, it's all speculating. But no, PCA. It's gonna the stress for me at PCA is one, getting to interviews on time, which really shouldn't be a problem, and then just not running out of memory card space
And making sure everything's charged.
Right. That shouldn't be much of an issue. It's just what I do every year is around the midday point. I will grab my computer. I'll sit down at a table somewhere. I would take my memory cards out of my camera. I will dump all the footage onto an external hard drive and through my computer, and then I will erase the memory card, and then have a brand new card ready to go. I do have a few memory cards, so if I don't have that time to be able to do that, I do have the ability to punt and put things in different slots. The A74 is wonderful because it has two memory card slots, memory card 1, memory card 2, and I can put as big of a memory card storage wise as I want in there, and I can, if one fills up, the other one can start taking on if need be. It also gives me a display of how much time I have left on that memory card if I need to punt before the next interview starts. So the biggest fear for me is just a corrupted card, right? And you can't prepare for that. It just sometimes it happens. So there's a chance. I might change up my formatting on my card to just write the same information to both cards at the same time. It's just more tedious that way. Maybe Bob the Cigar Guy and I go on the weekend to go buy some memory cards just in case.
It's possible.
Gary Brooks says, where is the PCA venue? It is the New Orleans Convention Center, I think is what it's called. It's just a huge convention hall right off the Mississippi River, not too far from downtown New Orleans, French Quarter, Bourbon Street, all that kind of stuff. We are not staying in downtown New Orleans. We're staying about 25 minutes away in a house. One of the reasons for that was because it was about the same price as it was going to be for a hotel. But we have to live stream, brought to you by Villager Cigars, during PCA, every night of PCA. And having a house with a big backyard allows us to be able to smoke and have a good time. So, we also need to make sure we bring ashtrays.
Yeah, I have it on my list.
Okay. Yes, back up. That's like my number one stressor the whole entire time is data storage, and making sure that everything is being backed up as much as I can, because I don't want to lose any of that, because when I get back, then the game becomes how long is it going to take for me to edit, process, and upload these videos. I do have a brand new, not used 1 terabyte backup disk. I also have another one that has all of our other PCA content on it, but it's about halfway used, so I'll probably just go ahead and jump on the brand new one that's not been used and fill that up, and then transfer that data over eventually, so that I can just fill one up and have it in reserve. My last conference was at the Superdome. We don't have that. But this is at the actual the New Orleans Convention Center. It's big. It's a beast. This is our third PCA. This is our third convention hall. The first year was at the Venetian Palazzo Convention Center, and then it was at Hall B of the Las Vegas Convention Center. Now we're in New Orleans. There were differences between the Venetian Convention Center and the Las Vegas Convention Center, so I'm sure this is going to be different as well. But while they're different, they're very much the same. After looking at the map of the PCA Convention Center, it's very streamlined. The Venetian one was kind of in this weird half semicircle oval kind of sort of deal. The one last year at the Las Vegas Convention Center was more of a big square. This is a very long rectangle, but I think you enter at the middle of the rectangle on the long side, like the 50-yard line. So you're going to walk in and then disperse instead of walk in. Like last year, you walked in at the end and then walked back of the square. Was at the Venetian for Dell World last year. I liked that convention hall. That was really nice.
I liked it.
I loved that the hotel and the convention center were all the same thing. Is NOLA for the next couple of years, or are they going back to Vegas next year? So I know for sure they're there next year. I've heard somebody say, I think it was you.
3 years.
I think it was Bob Zagari who said it was 3 years that they were going to be there, but I thought it was 2. I thought it was going to be 2 and 2 for the foreseeable future. I could be wrong. I tell you what, I do wish it was back in Vegas. Well, for the price wise, because lodging way cheaper in Vegas,
and smoke wise,
and smokability way cheaper. Well, more open, more available to smoke. New Orleans has a lot of rules on smoking. New Orleans is also more expensive in the staying and lodging aspect, but I bet it's going to be cheaper in the food aspect because Las Vegas food is
ridiculous.
Every room at the Venetian is a suite, and it was awesome.
It was great.
So I don't know. I'll give you a better in detail review the 17th of April, because that'll be the first PCA, or that'll be the first Chief Talk stream back from PCA. So, and then I do have confirmed, I'll go ahead and let you guys know now, that April 24th, we are going to have Tim Swanson on from Cigars Daily.
So he did do that. Awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to do the 24th.
Awesome. Awesome.
It kind of sucks because also on April 24th, Will McFall has a Drew Estate event at Social, and he's going to have Pedro with him. So, needless to say, I'm going to be running up to that event for as much as I can until about an hour before Chief Talk starts, and then run over here to be in the studio before Tim hops on. So,
that's April 24th?
Yeah, the 24th. So, that will not be your day off. You'll have the Friday off that week. No. That won't be your long weekend. Because this week you had off Wednesday. No, you'll be off. You'll still be on your vacation. The plant shut down, right?
Yeah, but it's shut down, but we got to run. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We will see Terrence. We'll see Terrence on the last day. Well, we'll interview Terrence and Fabian on the last day of the show. So I do think the whole jacket gate is hilarious. Going on with Abe and Petra and Terrence Riley from Megan Norris League. So I think this is a great part to end the show right here, right before 10 o'clock. This is a great show. Bubba Cigar Guy, before I drop your face off of the screen and do our kick out, is there anything you would like to say before we are gone for 2 weeks?
Yes, get ready. Content's going to be hot and heavy. I'm going to do all sorts of little pop-up lives like I've done every year. The PC After Dark, sponsored by Villiger, is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. You're going to be able to see the things that nobody else is going to talk about, because I'm just going to talk about the day, and we're going to smoke some cigars. I'm going to show you some of the cigars I got. I'm going to talk to you about the booths. I'm going to talk to you about stuff that was off camera that I can talk about. It should be a hoot and a half. It'll be interesting for you to know this stuff ahead of time, so you can talk to people and say, well, you know what, I heard such and such and so and so, and it's going to be a great time. There's going to be a pool. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the video from the pool. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, because I don't know if I'm bikini suit ready for this year. But we are going to do some fun stuff. And on the way down, of course, Chief will be popping up and doing little lives, I guarantee, on the flight, even if they're just on Facebook posts and stuff like that. But then I'll be doing all my little pop-ups and stuff. So just be prepared. Keep that bell on, because lots of stuff's going to be coming down. We're going to have a great time, and we couldn't do it without the support from y'all. If y'all didn't watch us, nobody would have us. And so we thank you so much for all that you do for the channel. We are glad that you're a part of the family. Now to you, Chief.
All right. So definitely agree with everything Bob the Cigar Guy said. I do suggest that if you don't want to miss out on any content from PCA starting next Thursday, because Thursday is our travel day to PCA. Bob the Cigar Guy and the First Lady will travel down before I do. I don't think I'll do anything live on Thursday, whether it be from the airport or the plane or the tarmac or whatever. My Instagram stories are definitely going to have, pictures of flights or videos of food or whatever. There is a part of me, and people keep saying, I get mixed reviews of yes, do it or don't do it. There's a part of me, because I have a 3-hour layover in Dallas, that wants to leave the airport, go get some Texas barbecue, and make fun of it because it's not Carolina barbecue, and then get back to the airport because I have a 3-hour layover in Dallas. I don't know if I'll do it. Probably won't do it, because I know how much of a nervous timekeeper I am when it comes to PCA or to flying. But the stories on Instagram and Facebook are definitely going to be going there. But Bob the Cigar Guy is probably, I hope he doesn't do any lives on YouTube from his trip. I hope they're all on Facebook, just because I don't want to congest the YouTube up. And that'll be something that he and I have to talk about.
You can't stop me.
Anyways, but do have the notifications turned on, and make sure your notifications are sent to you from YouTube for sure. And if you don't want a bunch of YouTube notifications between now and then, just start next Thursday. I do plan on shooting some vlog style videos from my phone and editing them. The first one of those that would go up would be on Friday, if I do that on Friday. If that's the case, I will, I'll have one for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then that'll be extra content. And then once I get back from PCA, I don't know exactly when I'm going to start doing videos. I'll probably start working on them that Wednesday. I fly home on Tuesday. I'm going to have been gone from my wife and my 3 kids for 6 days. So I'm definitely making that an office day, a home day with them. And then, so Wednesday I might work. Thursday might be the first day, but I actually might just wait for first content to be Chief Talk on Thursday. It'll probably be just me, because Bob the Cigar Guy is going to be traveling back with First Lady slow doing their anniversary week. So it'll probably just be me. I might bring a guest on. I might talk to somebody at PC and say, hey, you want to come on this Thursday? But there will be a show. There will be a show that Thursday after PCA. And then I don't know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday might be the first. But once they start going, they don't stop until they're done. So looking forward to that. Definitely have your notifications turned on to make sure that you don't miss anything. Comment on them. Let us know what you think about that cigar brand, the video, whatever it be. We're also going to do some other type of videos while we're there that aren't just going to be interviews. So keep an eye out. Look forward to that. Love you all. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Again, thank you, Drew Estate, for making sure that Chief Talk is live and available for you guys every single week. Yeah, we're not traveling or doing something channel related or holiday related. Yeah, that's about it. Love you guys. See you in 2 weeks.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a 1-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.